Hey guys, what's going on? It is me, Taffy. Welcome back to the Binding of Isaac Rebirth here on the cave. Let's go to our YouTube file. Let's start a new run. Let's pick somebody that we just don't have enough accomplished with. I hate ending sentences and prepositions. I didn't used to be that guy. We'll do a cane run. I don't remember what we did last. I'm finally back from PAX. You people are not getting free popcorn today, my friends, because I came so close on the last two recordings. It was only by sheer luck. I thought for sure, dude, like, okay, hold on. 0P1 R, that's not a P. I wrote a 9. Niner. Are you on a walkie-talkie? J8MP. Excuse me. Throat clearing for the professional. So yeah, man, I don't want to say upset. Like, I'm never gonna, feign that I was, oh, hello. Well, I can't take a little brimstone because it would straight up freaking kill me. I'm gonna take Gimpy. What the hell? Give up 1 heart and, okay. Here's what we do. We pick up this so that we don't accidentally kill ourselves. We just assume that one of those is gonna hit. And it did, and it picked up Tammy's head, which I think is more useful in this current situation than the Anarchist Cookbook, because that shit's just gonna get me murked. Excuse me, I'm hoping that'll be the last time I have to clear my throat. I have not had a scratchy throat or the PAX plague. Hold on 1 second. If I could, easily mute or pause this, I would. And I might. If it comes back, I'm gonna pause it, and I'm gonna edit all that out. Oh no, Taffy, come on. Play like you mean it. Play like a champion today. So, no, I don't have, the PAX plague. Yeah. I don't even know how to continue. Alright, let's just pretend that we didn't... Oh, Jesus God, don't die to the horseman on the first floor. Okay, so... Let's refocus this nightmare. This is the actor's nightmare where you're being forced on stage and you don't know your lines. Oh my God, this is the worst. This is like the actor's nightmare where you're getting forced on stage and you don't know your lines. Only for me, it's you're getting forced into Isaac and then you get a throat tickle and then you have a hard time continuing. Let's actually take the horse back and see if there's anything we can pick up, and there is. Ooh, a bomb. Do you want to go 50-50 and see if we can find a room? Let's do it. Boo! You guys were wrong, and you were wrong to tell me to do that. I'm actually going to take the horse. I like Tammy's head just fine, but the ability to fly, I think, is much more worthwhile. So, to get back to what I was originally trying to say, I was trying to say that I came so ridiculously close to buying you guys popcorn on the last 2 videos that I was convinced I had done it. I was convinced I had messed it up, and I was convinced that I was going to have to shell out two popcorn packages, so that would have been $32 in total for the smallest ones. I was convinced I just dropped like 35 bucks on just the ignorance of not putting the seed in the description. And so it wasn't until I was uploading, I was just like, oh God, was there any place where I did something stupid and paused it or accidentally clicked outside the window? And sure enough, man, just wondering about House of Pain's jump around and having to kill a silverfish that was running around on my desk was enough to save me from my own incompetence. So I didn't end up actually having to buy anybody popcorn. At some point, I'm sure it'll happen, and at that point in time, I will kick myself because it'll be a dumb move on my part. But I will not be... Alright, that's it. I'm gonna pause. There's gonna be a little fade to white, and I'm gonna cough as hard as I possibly can, and hopefully have this be done with so that we can go on. Because we have so much to talk about, man. I went to PAX and it was great, so hold on 1 sec. Alright, hopefully that did it, man. Like, God willing, that was it. I can still feel the tickle in the back of my throat, and nothing like that has happened since I've been back, or this morning while I've been talking to the missus and everything. One more time. Yeah, man, right before I clicked on to record, I just kind of cleared my throat almost as a reflex, not even because I felt like I needed it. And since then, I've got something floating in the back, and it's starting to blow my mind. It's starting to it's messing with my concentration, because now I'm self-conscious of it. I'm self-aware, but I'm gonna motor through it. If I'm a little bit scratchy, if I have to do the occasional throat clear, I hope you'll forgive me. To be totally fair to myself, I lost my voice twice during PAX just because I was in places where I had to basically... I mean, the conference floor itself is a place where you have to scream to be heard. And then on top of that, I went to the Twitch party the first night, which completely fried my voice. Because the entire night was just basically me screaming at people that I admired and or watched. And fangirling, which is weird when you're 35. Then you're at those things and you're just like, oh my god, I watch your stuff. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna, like, of all the times for my anxiety to peak, and for, you know, you would think that would be the place where I would be like, oh my god, I'm so self-conscious about how I'm carrying myself and my demeanor. No, man, I embraced it. I wrapped my arms around myself. I gave myself a great big reassurance hug and was like, you know, you never know if you're gonna be back in this situation. Like, people assume. I'm sure that the last time that MC Hammer put out an album, or the Vanilla Ice put out an album, I'm sure that they thought, oh man, I can't wait to get back in the studio, or, you know, I can't wait to go back to the Grammys. And I'm sure that they believed in their hearts that that was gonna happen, that they were gonna go back. But there's no guarantee of that, so, you know, while I was there, I wanted to be sure that I, you know, did the things I wanted to do and met the people I wanted to meet, and when I met those people, I said the things I wanted to say as best I could, and you know, live life without regrets, man. So I didn't let the fact that I'm way too old to be playing video games and fangirling over people at PAX stop me from playing video games and fangirling over people at PAX. So let's go ahead and finish out the rest of this floor. If we can get... Okay. If we can get one... Oh, man. If we can get one more... just die. If we can get one more blue heart, I think I'll feel more comfortable. And we have the means to do that if it's in the shop. We have enough red hearts on the ground that I can go farm that arcade. Oh, that's so good. We're going to take Mom's key. And we're going to go back and get the spirit heart. And we're going to check this out. We have plenty of keys, so we're going to open this golden chest now, especially now that we have Mom's key. And the money makes it easier for us to maybe get ourselves into a situation where we can get the piggy bank, and then whenever we play the blood bank before we go in to fight our boss, we'll actually make a lot more money. Luck down sucks. I'm going to take all these pills. Tears down sucks worse. Range down, oh my god. So you're saying we need PhD. Jiminy Christmas. Talk about your all-time boner rooms of not like it gave me a boner, but like if I had a boner, it asked me to push it down onto a desk where it hit it with a algebra book. My god, what a horrible room. So yeah, man, PAX. What to say about PAX? My goodness, man. I tried my best to represent y'all well. I consider myself, I've said this before, that I consider myself kind of the curator of the cave, the concierge of the cave, the cultivator of all things cave-like and denizen-esque. So I tried to carry myself well. I went there mostly because I have a business venture in the works with Sam Wilson, half of Approaching Nirvana. He and I went as emissaries to sort of feel things out and flesh things out. And it was really good, and it was exciting, and I would, you know, talk to people about that, and they'd say, okay, well, you know what, it reminded me of when I was in theater and doing a little bit of film. It reminded me of when you would go to a room full of actors, like you'd be in a waiting room for an audition, and to make small talk, all you really have is work. So, you know, you talk to each other about work, and the first thing that people really say is, oh, well, what have you done? What have I seen you in? What was your most recent project? And so in all of these, encounters, it was, hey, my name's Ryan, everybody calls me Taffy. And so a lot of people would say, oh, okay, well, what do you do? You know, what brings you here? And in some places, it was like, how did you get in? And please stop taking all of the appetizers and putting them in your bag. But, I wasn't kind of mentally prepared for that because I didn't particularly go there to pimp the cave. It just kind of happened that way. I think we're just in a place where we're going to go fight the boss. I'll come back and min-max this a little bit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do this just in case. If there's a crawl space or a black market or whatever, it's worth a little look-see-do. The tears down, man. Does that ever suck? So, yeah, I didn't plan on... Oh, come on, man. I launched us into a wall there. Ugh. Meow. Oh, don't get stuck by the haunt. Don't get stuck by the haunt. The tears downgrade is so bad. I didn't go there particularly planning to pimp the cave. I knew I'd end up talking about it. Like, that didn't surprise me that people were like, oh, tell me about your channel. What games do you play? It's our common ground. But at the same time, people were just like, do you have a business card? And I was just like, I didn't think I would need one. I knew I didn't have business cards for mine and Sam's venture because it's in the early gestation period where I kind of made a fool out of myself, if you can believe that, with some of these last year's businesses where last PAX I was, you know, calling myself a manager of YouTubers, mostly the Minecraft guys like Rob and Preston and Lachlan. Like I was calling myself that, even though by the definition, oh, that's so good. By the definition of who and what a manager is, I wasn't really a manager. I was just a dude trying to help them. But I had cards and I was telling everybody what I was... I don't know which one to take. I'm kind of stalling a little bit. I don't know. You know what? Let's take the pentagram. I feel like first run back, I don't necessarily want it to be a mom's knife run. Which kind of means that we can't go back and... We kind of can't go back and play the blood bank, but we can't come back here and maybe blow some of this stuff up. Man, it's a long walk. I hate not having a map. Let's just blow him up. And I'll keep one bomb just in case. Oh, that was worth it. Totally worth, bro. Totally worth. So, yeah, I felt like an asshole when I went there last PAX because I introduced myself to a bunch of people and claimed I was doing stuff and being things that... I don't want to say they were untrue. I meant them, and I thought I was backing them up, but when it came down to owning and operating a business, like a full-blown adult business, I look back now and I was just like, oh my god, like what an asshole I was. Like, no wonder nobody kind of took me seriously, because when it came to having an actual business model and an adequate amount of startup money and any sort of infrastructure in place, it was ultimately a joke. I was just, you know, I was good at what I was trying to do, but there was nothing in... Oh shit, that's not what I meant to do at all. Yeah, ultimately it wasn't built the way that you would expect a traditional business to be built, and I am never ever again going to be keen to repeat that and be like, yeah, I'm a professional rodeo clown or whatever it is that I want to tell people that I do. And then they're like, oh, okay, cool. Do you have a card? Do you have a website? Do you know, where your office is located? Whatever that is. Like, whatever the questions are that they ask. And be like, no, I mean, I'm totally going to be a rodeo clown. And I know that I have these business cards with this sad clown printed up. But, you know, we don't pay taxes or anything. Like... You know, like, we don't have contracts. We just talk about stuff and then do it. You know, I just don't, I don't want to go down that, oh my god, all the red hearts. Oh my god, I feel a sneeze. Hold on. My respiratory system is out to destroy me, and I don't know why. Like, I'm not sick. That's the thing, is that everybody talks about the PAX plague. I managed to avoid it. I managed to not get the PAX plague. But that said, I need sleep. I need some sleep in my life. Okay. I need some sleep in my life. I need to get my sleep schedule sorted, because that was my casualty. Was I went there. I keep weird hours here because I have, like, right now I'm recording during the daytime, but normally I record, I mean, in the dead of night, because A, my gym is 24 hours and the only time I can go there and not be around people is in the graveyard shift, and that's kind of when I treat it like a male version of curves. Like, I go there and I'm like, oh, I don't want to work out around people who can see me in a sleeveless shirt and shorts. So I go there in the dead of night when nobody's there, so that I don't feel self-conscious about having to work out. And so yeah, I'm a person who keeps odd hours to begin with, but I kept the fucking craziest hours at PAX. And it wasn't necessarily even by choice. It was just kind of like, that's how stuff panned out, where nights were ending at like 4 in the morning. And yeah, oh, hello. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's gonna be throat clearing in this episode, and I'm gonna try my best to keep it to a minimum. And if I really feel like it's gonna be something intense, then I will absolutely pause the video and get back to you. But oh, I kind of want to blow that up. Yeah, so craziest sleep schedule while I was there, and it was only because people were just like, "Hey, come hang out with us. It starts at 7 and it ends at dawn." And okay, I would like to do that very much so. So, yeah, God, where's my train of thought going on this? I'm all over the place. Oh man, the virus is gonna be so good on that. So I guess let's get into the long and the short of it is that I didn't have any business cards for the cave because I think of this as a project right now. I don't think I'm working on thinking of it as something we do. I feel self-conscious saying I do this for a living because right now I don't. You know, like I don't make really any money off of this. I make some money off of donations. But I don't think that Google has sent me a single paycheck yet for what we make on YouTube so far. And I think since January, our estimated earnings on the channel is like $31. So to tell people I'm like, oh, I'm a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer, I'm just like, oh, I'm like an entrepreneur who also has a YouTube channel and Twitch stream. So yeah, so I didn't really think I wasn't going there to really pimp myself out. We have 15 cents, so I'm gonna go back and get, was it BBFF, BBFFF, ASAP? So yeah, I tried to represent, I tried to do well, and yet at the same time, I talked to people, but I met people and I added people on Twitter, and it was cool, but I feel like the cave was like my secondary focus, because it's not what I was thinking about promoting while I was there. That said, I did do some promoting of it while I was there. Just, this throat clearing thing is just driving me insane. I've tried to dodge McLaffyTaffy because I hit pause and then I unhit pause, and when I went to speak, the frog came up again. So, oh no, yay, Gimpy. So, yeah, let's just kind of dive into what all happened while I was there. I got in on Friday night. Went to the hotel, kind of didn't expect a whole lot to happen because I was the first one in, and Sam from Approaching Nirvana, who was my roommate, had his flight canceled, and Andrew, the other half of Approaching Nirvana, was also my roommate, but he didn't get in until midnight, so I just kind of assumed that old man Taffy would maybe go buy himself a bottle of something brown and sit around until the next day. Instead, I bumped into Evan Erector, who has been a longtime fan of the channel and going all the way back to the Mr. Wiffle's passive aggression days. Yeah, dude, that was cool. So, sort of, I don't know if Evan considers himself a denizen. I don't even know if he watches our stuff anymore. But, he follows us on Twitter and makes sure that anytime that we're sort of in remotely a geographically similar location, that he gets a hold of us and talks to us and everything. So, yeah, I did that the first night, and, took myself out to a sort of nice post-jet laggy dinner. The next day, I went and walked the showroom floor. I went to the Blizzard panel. The Blizzard panel, they talked about Overwatch. They talked about Heroes of the Storm and that beta. And then they talked about Hearthstone, man, and in a couple of weeks here, we're going to get 31 new cards on the Blackrock Mountain new adventures. So, for the 7 or 8 of you who watch Hearthstone, know that it's going to keep coming, because I freaking love that game. I love playing that game. At the end of the night, things, I'd say, would, sort of... They mellowed out from a business standpoint, but to say that they got mellow is a bold-faced lie, because mellow is not the way I would describe that first Friday night. I ended up kind of tagging along as the Approaching Nirvana +1 to the Twitch party, which was held at Jillian's Lucky Strike right outside of Fenway, which for me, as a sports person, I was like almost more excited about being right outside Fenway than I was about being at a Twitch party. But that changed like the moment I got in. Right off the bat, I met up with BizSnap, who is just one of the damned finest human beings that has ever lived. We spent most of the evening, the Approaching Nirvana guys and I spent most of the evening kind of hanging out with him and with Phaedron, and with who else? Got to bump into J Smith OTI and Bacon Donuts, and golly, it was just so many people. Bumped into J Smith OTI, bumped into Cobalt Streak and Richard Hammer, and got to basically say, hey man, I love your stuff, and I'm a huge fan of your 2-week live stream. They let us, or they let me know that they'll be doing another big-ass marathon live stream the moment that Rebirth's DLC drops. So maybe we can get together and do a cave viewing party of those fine men torturing themselves for our amusement. God, they were so cool. It was, I got to see, at one point I was bowling, and on my left was Hafu, and on my right was Gassy Mexican. And I talked to Max for a little bit until he kind of brushed me off because I was rambling, and I don't say that to be like, oh, clearly Gassy Mexican is a dick. I was rambling, so at one point he was just like, hey there, little buddy, I'm just gonna go somewhere the fuck else, and I was just like, I don't blame you, even I've lost interest in what I'm saying. So yeah, Max was great, super nice guy, bumped into Syndicate, and we collectively shamed Evan Eckerd for not being able to fly. Well, I mean, he can fly, it's not like he's on the no-fly list, or that his body physically won't go above a certain altitude. Instead, he chooses not to fly because he had a shitty experience on a flight a while back. So, Syndicate and I snapped a selfie and sent it to Evan to openly shame and mock him. Do I want that? I want the key. And then, what happened? That's a great question. I may or may not have an answer. I drank a lot of whiskey that night. I drink a lot of whiskey every night I was there. I don't know if it was because I wanted to drink whiskey or just because it gave me something to do. I wish I could take the nail, man, but I just can't rationalize not taking the flying ability. So, yeah, Saturday, I'm trying to, it all becomes such a blur. Saturday, I spent a good amount of time on the floor, down at the PAX showroom, bumped into and met and was introduced to Rami Ishmael, who is part of the team that brought you, one of the founders of the team that brought you Nuclear Throne. Super cool dude, man. You want to talk about the mad genius, the mad Dutchman. That guy is awesome. Bumped into Nate Beck, who is a software dev and a super nice guy and well received within the community. He and I have become fast friends. Who else? Oh, I saw Gold Glove, saw old Goldie, Brennan, hanging out down there. He and I chatted for a hot minute, but it's one of those things where I spent one weekend hanging out with him like 4 years ago, and I'm like, of course I remember it because I was like, oh, it's Gold Glove, man, he's awesome. And he's like, oh, this guy named Taffy is not unbearable. But it's not like he, clung to that memory the way that any one of us would cling to that memory. So he was like, hey, guy whose face is vaguely familiar. I'm like, it's, you're not wrong. That's enough for me. Oh shit. Yeah, man. Bumped into a bunch of Minecraft guys. Bumped into who else? A bunch of the guys from Main Menu, which is Cobalt and Bear Taffy's sort of Twitch crew. A lot of people talking to me about, oh, well, you should work on getting your channel partner. And I was like, hey, it's in the works. We're talking about it now. Like, even as we speak, the mods and I are floating around what we think our emotes should be and kind of building that Twitch brand. Twitch, man. I mentioned this in a stream, not in a stream, in Twitter, that I think that when I say we should focus on streaming more, I just mean that I should stream more. And that's only really because the Twitch community, I mean, like, the audience has always impressed me and has recently really impressed me, especially you guys. Like, as welcome as you guys made me feel to come back and as active as you guys are when I'm there, my experience was already good, but just kind of seeing how excited and active the Twitch team is with the partners there, that was just something that made me think. I was just like, man, I don't think that Google doesn't have my back with YouTube. I just think that Twitch has a smaller community to manage and thus can do more for them. Plus, it feels like a more energetic scene right now, and so many of the people that I watch and that I admire seem to be calling that place home. So, I'm I'm just thinking, you know, ultimately, I think what we need to do is, and I say we, I mean the mods, and if you guys want to help, then so be it. But the big thing for us is that we've got to figure out who in our community, when I say our community, primarily I mean the Binding of Isaac, because that's what, I mean, everybody's got to accept that they have a game that is their game, and the game that everybody watches them play for a reason. I want, as I say, I don't necessarily want the Spirit Hearts, I just don't want to get hurt picking things up here. Everybody has, quote-unquote, their game, and for me, obviously, that game is the Binding of Isaac, and I am totally fine with that being the game that you guys are like, Taffy, you have to play this, or we will find you, and we will melt you with paraffin wax, and then we will burn you like a candle. Okay, that's, I mean, that sounds reasonable. If you gotta pick a game, I would much rather it be this than Minecraft, but, which was actually something, at the Twitch party, there was a guy who I guess, because I'm treating this, no, I don't want to say, like, mocking is the wrong term, but because it's such an inside joke for us that could be embarrassing for somebody who didn't know, I don't want to be like, oh, look at this guy, he's so dumb, and then have him be like, alright, so Taffy's out of YouTube and Twitch forever, and I would just be sad. He would just, like, click his fingers and all of his powerful friends would be like, yeah, you're a fucking asshole and you're done. So we'll not say who it was, but there was a guy who was just like, so what do you do? And I was like, well, I play indie games mostly, but I also play like Hearthstone, and I don't know exactly what it is I do. I'm just kind of piecing that together. And he said, you know, it was kind of the, oh, well, what's your numbers game? And I was like, oh, my numbers are pretty modest, man. I got like 12,000 YouTube subscribers, and I've got about 2,500 Twitch followers, and I get about 70 to 100 people per stream. And he was just like, I have an idea, man. I think I know how you can make your channel successful. And I was like, I'm all ears. And he said, have you ever given a thought to playing Minecraft? And I was just like, if I did, I tried to be judicious because I smiled, but I didn't want it to be like that shit-eating grin of like, oh, Minecraft, you know, like, mostly because there were Minecraft streamers and YouTubers there that were like so large and so prosperous and had done nothing wrong to me ever that I didn't want to be like a total snob and just be like instantly blacklisted by people I'd never met who were just like, well, that guy's a fucking dick. Like, did you hear how he instantly like looked down his nose? Like, that nobody decided to look down his nose at me because I play Minecraft and I'm successful at it. So yeah, I smiled a little bit. I was just like, if I did that, I'm pretty sure, other than sticks, I would have to pretty instantly find an entirely new fan base. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, you know, I was thinking outside the box for you. And I was like, hey, man, I totally appreciate that. You know, and that's the thing, too, is that for the most part, that, I mean, not that community and YouTube share no overlap, but that group just happened to be the group I spent a good chunk of time with. Everybody was really supportive and collaborative and kind of open to chat with each other. Nobody really seemed to be wanting to shun anyone or to act as though they were going to exclude anybody because of a number attached to their channel or a certain view count. So, no, I mean, it was just a super chill, very cool vibe all the way around, and I was surprised and pleased by that. It reassured me that this is, you know, despite the comment section of most YouTube channels, and despite kind of the cancerous Twitch chats that you can bump into, that this is still a pretty good community full of sort of collaborative people. Especially, I guess, the higher up you go, the more you start to realize that it makes no sense, and it does nobody any good to sort of create and harbor resentment. So, you know, like, it used to be, you get like, oh god, that sucked. You used to get like guys like White Boy and Woody who would manufacture drama because drama created views and views create money and blah 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 blah. And that stuff, I guess, it works if you're content on being less of an entertainer and more of a reality TV star. Like, if that's what you're going for, then yeah, sure, you know, you go on the real world and you slap a hoe and, you know, you tell her that she's a hoe, then she grabs your hair and starts beating you with a stiletto pump, then, you know, people are gonna watch, because that kind of a fucking train wreck is hard to take your eyes off of. But, you know, you never saw, like, Frank Sinatra saying, "I want to be a great entertainer," and then he walked over and hit Dean Martin in the throat. It was just like, "Look, bitches, I own him. He is now mine." Like, that's, and I think at the higher levels, people kind of get that, where it's just kind of like, okay, well, obviously my biggest concern is taking care of myself, but if I can either help or, you know, influence by being inclusive other people's channels and the rest of the community, then that's not only going to make us a bigger community and help us, you know, grow as a culture, but it will also, you know, from a more selfish perspective, it'll also paint me in a good light, because people look at me and say, "Oh, well, that Taffy, he's actually out to sort of, you know, he may not instantly put you on his channel just because you asked him to, but he'll, you know, keep his eyes out for new content creators and talk to you and give you advice and stuff like that, and not be a snooty cock." And that, you know, that does reflect well on you if you're a bigger person. Nobody likes the idea of, like, we used to play a game in theater class, and it was called the status game. And they said, okay, here's pretty much the definition of the status game. If you're walking into an office, you walk into the Oval Office, and sitting in there is the president and a janitor. Instantly, without anyone saying anything, just because of how the societal norms are set up there, the president has the status. Like, you go, oh, okay, well, he's, you know, I'm sure the janitor is probably a good guy and he pays his taxes and loves his wife and kids, but he's standing next to the president of the United States, so you win, my friend. But if in the next moment the president says, "Clean up this mess, you plebe," and throws an ashtray at him and hits him in the head and knocks him unconscious, and the janitor says, "I'm sorry, sir, I didn't realize that this, you know, this trash needed to be taken out, I'll get on it right away," then in that instant, now the status is shifted, and you're kind of like, the protagonist is the janitor in this story. You're like, oh my god, I'm rooting for the janitor now, because President, you know, who knew a guy named President Asshole would be such a douchebag? That guy just hit, you know, it's Kevin Spacey off House of Cards. So, yeah, so anyway, everybody was nice, everybody was cool, everybody was kind. Day 2 was more of the same, being on the floor, meeting up with people, talking to folks. Spent a lot of time hanging around the Nuclear Throne booth, because why wouldn't you, man? And I think that's going to end up garnering its own series. I think that it has to garner its own I have to play Nuclear Throne. I'm going to play Nuclear Throne whether you guys see it or not. So I think it should just end up on the channel, and those can be short recordings, so that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to fight a whole room for a great chest. So, yeah, man, everybody was cool and everybody was nice, and Cricket's head is freaking amazing. And then on Sunday night, it really, like, the sleep schedule was so messed up that it's hard to tell you when I slept and what days were what days. Excuse me, the frog wireless up in my gizzards. So, the last night that I was there, I went to a dinner, and the dinner was surreal, because I sat basically between Cobalt and Biznap the whole time. I want to put this out there. If you're one of the people that I met this trip, and your name hasn't been mentioned, know that it's not because of a lack of reverence for you and what you do and the conversation we had. I met so many cool people, and I can't for the life of me remember them all. Like, from the Minecraft team, OMG Chad and I had a great time, and you know, if I hadn't stopped to pause like this, I probably wouldn't have remembered to mention that, but it's just kind of, it's, the memories are flooding back, sort of staggering through the door, like they are also as hungover as I feel. So, you know, on the off chance that somebody is stopping in going, I'm gonna check out that kid's channel. He seemed nice, but then he didn't mention me, so he's obviously a dick. It's not intentional, and I did a shitty job of keeping track of exactly who I talked to. If it weren't for the new followers portion of my Twitter feed, I would have no comprehensive list. So, no offense intended. Oh God, get away! No offense intended. Please, don't take my old man memory as a perceived slight. So yeah, man. Towards the end of the night, I mean, the thing is that I was super excited about meeting Cobalt and meeting Biznap, of course, And you know, all the other guys were nice too. Oh, Alpaca Patrol was there with J Smith OTI, and Alpaca Patrol actually knew, you know, remembered who I was. I used to, a year ago, back when things were fresh and new here on the channel, and I was at a place where I was slightly bigger than Bear. I was in a Skype chat, and I was in the Skype chat with like Alpaca Patrol and J Smith OTI and Bear and Rockley Smile and Michael A.L. Fox. And, you know, when I stopped being a YouTube creator, I stopped being in that channel. I didn't think it was fair for me to sit there and hang out and expect to kind of be around these guys and talking to them about, you know, oh, what are you going to play? Oh, I don't know. What game do you think about playing? Anybody want to record this? Anybody want to do that? And I'm just kind of sitting in there like some sort of tourist. So, you know, I left the chat and saw J Smith OTI and was just like, oh, okay, I gotta say hi. And so I went and said hi to J Smith OTI, and I said, hey, you know, my name's Ryan, everybody calls me Taffy. And Alpaca Patrol Rob just goes, McLaffyTaffy? And I was just like, I'm gonna kiss you on the mouth with tongue, and I'm gonna need you to just be okay with it. And he was just like, oh, dude, I remember you from that Skype chat. And I was just like, yeah, you know, used to do YouTube, and now I'm back again, and it's been a weird ride. And so I've added Rob back on Skype, and I didn't mean to divert into that tangent, but his name was definitely the first one that came to mind after OMG Chaz, where it was just like, if I didn't mention you, it's because I'm a dick. It's not because you're not memorable. It's because I'm old and my memory fails me. Guppy something? Guppy's tail. Yay. So, yeah, I just, so many people. God, we met so many people. So Saturday night we sat down to dinner with oh my gosh, that's 2 guppy items in 2 rooms. Oh, the dream could be real. The dream could be real. We could get rid of the horse. Don't give up hope, people. We got 2 items in 2 rooms. Let's keep the guppy dream alive, because right now we have chocolate milk, we have Cricket's head, we have the pentagram. Like, there are so many good things happening. It's the first time that the gameplay has drawn me away from what is meant to be like sort of a comprehensive. Oh my God! It's the left hand. I was gonna say we want to come in here and fight Ultra Pride and get the left hand so that we can take it with us and get more red chests. This is the game wants us to have this. The game wants me inside of it, and I would be rude if I didn't acquiesce, considering everything the game has done for me. I don't mean the game the rapper. I mean the Binding of Isaac. Although if the game the rapper wants to show up and do stuff for me, I'm not gonna argue with him. We'll take our 3rd orbital. So yeah, man, it was we sat down to sushi dinner and ate sushi with a lot of great people, including Rami Ishmael from Nuclear Throne, and you know, Cobalt and BizSnap, and had great conversations, and everybody was super chill. And you know, there is going to be a portion of you who are wondering, like, somebody's even asked already on a previous video, Taffy, we're not trying to stir the shit, but we have to know, inquiring minds have to know, did you bump into Rob while you were there? Rob was there, I was there, I bumped into everyone from Rob's crew, the PAX, I believe is what they're calling themselves now. I bumped into Jerome and Mitch and Preston and Lachlan, and somehow, you know, somehow managed to not run into Rob, and I think that's probably okay. You know, I was talking to Lachlan about it and said, ultimately, I kind of, this is weird because I'm a 35-year-old man and he was like a teenager I met on the internet. So I'm gonna be straightforward with you people, because it's a weird thing for me to say out loud. So just know that if it hits your ears in a funny way, know that it feels just as weird to say it out loud. But you know, it felt like my first time out on my own. Like if you're a woman and you marry a guy and you go out after a divorce, so I told people, I was just like, I feel like it's my first night out after getting separated, and now all I want to do is drink pink drinks out of stemmed glasses and you know, be slutty. Like, I want to wear a slutty dress and dance with a stranger and take him home. Like, that's kind of how that felt. This is like my first time out. It's the first time I'd ever been to one of these things, and you know, and I was saying this, I think, to Preston, where I was like, you know, I've always been somebody's +1 at these things, and you know, it wasn't wrong. I was always Rob's +1, and this time I was approaching Nirvana's +1, and that's not the incorrect designation for me. But after kind of having been in and around this community since almost 2010, it's deflating. It's a deflating feeling to still only be there because I know people and not because I feel like part of this community. So, you know, like this was the first step out for me of just kind of being like, okay, so this is what it's like to be here and not have someone else be the excuse for why you're here. So, you know, it's the thing that I'm working on with Sam, I hope will become the defining reason why I'm there, and I hope to a much lesser extent that this channel and our stream can be part of that too. I'm really hoping that by PAX Prime we can have our Twitch channel partnered, which is going to mean scheduling more streaming dates, which I'm thinking will be 3, but I can see being as high as 4 if we do it right. I'm trying not to overload myself because clearly I got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm a dad, and you know, I don't want that to come at the cost of, you know, time with Gray and Rory. But at the same time, like, you know, just like anything else, just because I'm having to start over again doesn't mean I get to work any less hard to get back to where I want to be. So, I don't think I'll be taking the bean with me. Oh no, come on, man, I had the horse. How did I get hurt? That's such bullshit. Just because the horse hadn't registered and become a flying effect yet, I took spike damage there. That's dumb. So yeah, man, I just, it was a good time. It was a bizarre and crazy time. The last day was me and Sam working on stuff and hanging out with Andrew, the other member of Approaching Nirvana, and towards the end of the night, they played a set at this place called Maggiano's that was sponsored by the Minecraft folks, so I got to go hang out with them and watch Approaching Nirvana spin and help them get some audio equipment, you know, stowed around and moved around. And, yeah, man, it was, and then we wrapped up the night by going to IHOP outside of Boston, and I kind of looked down at my watch at one point, and I was just like, hey, will somebody call me an Uber, or is anybody heading back into the city, because my flight leaves in, like, 2 hours, and I'm at an IHOP 7 miles from my hotel, and I haven't packed yet, so... You know, it ended kind of it started abruptly because I thought that I was going to take a nice easy night and have a couple of nightcaps and get a crazy good night's sleep, and instead, you know, bumped into somebody who found me literally while I was at the hotel gym trying to get an evening run in, and it ended with me still being out talking to one of the Brandon, who's one of the members of Main Menu. He and I talking about what a cool guy Bear Taffy is, which surprises nobody, I think, at this point anymore. And kind of just being mid-conversation with him and saying, oh, shit, I have to get on a plane and go back to Virginia. Like, it's time for me to leave because my people need me. So, I guess that's it. Man, God, that went fast. Let me get to the other side of the animatic. Oh, Cinemaniacs. Oh, stretch. Alright, cool. So, hey, the coin bag. So, yeah, you know, I apologize for the fact that was kind of disjointed and kind of screwed up by the hoarse throat in the beginning, but the hoarse throat was as a result of just yelling a lot during the last weekend. So, I met a lot of people. We talked about a lot of things. I'm getting much closer to kind of cluing you guys into what this, like, little project is that I've got going on. We talked about it a lot with people over the PAX weekend, so I feel kind of like the cat's out of the bag, but I'm still playing it kind of guarded and close to the chest, because I made such an asshole out of myself last year, and I didn't mean to, but I still feel like that was kind of the end result, was I felt like an asshole when it all fell apart. So, ultimately, yeah, man, and there were a lot of people who do a lot of things that are, like, we're gonna get Twitch partnered, and we'll keep working on the channel to sort of shape it into what we want it to be, but it was an inspiring weekend, and I hope that I represented you guys well while I was there. If you're looking for vlogs, I don't know that I'm going to get any up. I recorded some in the first couple of days, and that kind of fell by the wayside because I didn't know what to talk about, because I wasn't really there to see, like, video games and stuff like that. Some of that happened, but it was more of a networking thing, and if I met these people, the first thing I didn't want to do was to, like, shove a camera in their face and be like, talk for my channel's amusement and benefit me. Like, it's a weird, douchey thing to approach people with, so, I don't know. I got a couple of little things, but I don't know that they'll end up seeing the light of day. I'll continue to tell stories, and we'll try to get back into streaming this weekend, and I'll tell you more about it. You can ask me more directly there, but I'm home, I'm back, I'm ready to record some stuff and spend some time with you guys. If you have any questions about PAX and anything that I did or people I met, which did not sadly include Northern Lion, hit me up in the comment section below, and I will try my best to answer them. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in on behalf of myself and the denizens of the cave. My name is Taffy. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next time, and I am out.